Guys, do you have it? We are in executive session. I'm going to exec on 4 bills this morning. The first one, Senate Bill 903. There's a Senate committee sub. This is Senator Henderson's bill from last week. We heard about copper theft. Senator Henderson, first of all, let me make a motion to adopt the substitute, Senate committee substitute on Senate Bill 903. Do I have a second? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. We are on Senate committee substitute for Senate Bill 903. Senator Henderson, would you like to explain the changes?
Really, there's no substantive changes to it. Really, what we're trying to do is mirror the House version of it that we bring over. I think we changed a couple definitions in there is really all we did in it. I don't think there's really any substantive changes on what we had in the original bill.
Okay. Any discussion or questions on that? Seeing none, I move we do pass Senate committee substitute for Senate Bill 903. Do I have a second? Michelle, please call the roll.
Senator Cierpiot.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Bernstetter. Carter.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye. Gregory.
May. McCreary.
Aye.
Mosley.
7-0. By your vote of 7-0, we have voted to pass Senate committee substitute for Senate Bill 903. I now move that we take up Senate Bill 838. Do I have a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. We are on Senate Bill 838. I have a substitute, and everybody has received that copy. So I move that we adopt the substitute for Senate Bill 838. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Let me first of all tell you kind of what we did to that bill. As we said in the meeting a week or two ago, we heard it, the battery storage is being included to it. We've also added some energy efficiency standards that is, I will admit, it's a work in progress. I've met with PSC and some others, so there's still some work to be done on that, but we'll do that on the floor if we get there. This removes nuclear from the renewable definition. It simply states that moving forward, it can be counted as part of the utilities RES requirement. And it also has language in there. There's a board called, it's the Environmental Improvement and Energy Resources Authority, and it's EIERA is what it's called. And they do funding at times for different things. We're adding nuclear power to that, so going forward, they will have the ability to help fund those projects if need be. Any discussion? Seeing none, I move that we,
I have a question.
I'm sorry. Senator Mosley, I'm sorry. I didn't
What did you say EIERA is?
It's the Environmental Improvement and Energy Resources Authority. It's part of DNR. I had never heard of it either.
What are they going to do?
They have funds available, grants, a lot of times just federal grants that they pass. It was established to help the renewables of the world be funded. Not totally, but just part of it. And this adds nuclear to that. So in the next decade or so, if that becomes part of the plan, they'll be able to have the ability to help fund some of those. Yeah, they also do wastewater and water projects also. So, any further discussion?
And
Seeing-
you said you're trying to work on getting what fixed in this bill?
The things that we have to work on is the efficiency that we've added to it. And also there's some, I think, further work on the nuclear portion too. I mean, quite honestly, once it gets to the floor, I think a lot of it will be under scrutiny we'll be looking at. This is just to get it to the floor.
So why are we passing it out if it's not fixed yet?
Well, as you know, on the floor, we always have a lot more changes when you have 34 people looking at it rather than the 8 or 9 on this committee. And this just gets it up there to start that process. Further discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Trace. Senator McCray.
So I see that you changed the title from Renewable Energy Standard to Nuclear Energy. What's the reasoning for changing the title?
I don't know, just to make it, because that could have worked the first time, actually. This energy efficiency and stuff, I really can't tell you. I think it's just a title that's actually a little tighter. When you
Well,
look at
it raises alarms for me, quite
Okay,
honestly.
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so that,
Well, I know once we get to the floor, there's going to be a lot of questions about
yeah,
that.
you could
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
probably guess that. All right, very good, thank you.
And you're right, nationally, I think this is changing, but nuclear always gets everybody's antenna up because of the past. I think some of that's being addressed, but.
Yeah. Well, I guess just generally, one of my concerns is the voters approved some things that now, in 2008, and now, politicians are attempting to undo what the voters passed. I think 66% of the voters voted for some of this.
That 15% thing kind of thing. the
Yeah.
15% of
So,
renewables?
I just
Right.
generally.
I agree.
And uncomfortable with undoing the will of the voters on something.
I think that'll be looked at on the floor, too.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Anything else? Senator May?
Yes. So in your bill, are we still going under the renewable, or are we going to create a lane for the nuclear?
We took that out of the description of renewable,
You took it out of renewable?
of the description, right.
Okay, very good.
Thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, I move that we adopt the Senate Committee substitute for Senate Bill 903. We already had the motion, so all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. We have adopted the Senate Committee substitute for Senate Bill 838. Is that what I said? 838? Okay. I now move that we do pass Senate Committee substitute for Senate Bill 838. Do I have a second?
Second.
Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Senator Cierpiot.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Bernsketter. Carter. Fitzwater. Gregory. May. McCreary. Mosley. 6-3.
By your vote of 6-3, we have voted to pass Senate Committee substitute for Senate Bill 838. I now move that we bring up Senate Bill 879. Do I have a second? All in
Second.
favor, please say aye. Opposed, say no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Senate Bill 879 is before the committee. That bill we heard, I think a week ago, didn't we? It's Senator Fitzwater's bill, and it's staying the same as it is. And I want to tell you, quite honestly, both of these bills, the next two bills we're going to vote on, have a lot of work to do. And I think Senator Fitzwater and Senator O'Laughlin are in the middle of that. I think there's actually a chance this year we can pass something on this front, so that's encouraging. But this bill, as it stands, will not be the thing it passes, but it's at least a starting point. Any other discussion on this bill? Seeing none, I move that we do pass Senate Bill 879. Michelle, will you call us the roll?
Senator Cierpiot.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Bernsketter.
I think we got you.
Carter. Fitzwater. Gregory. May. McCreary. Mosley. Okay, 6-3.
What'd she say?
No.
Was she a no? Okay. By a vote of 6-3, we have voted to pass Senate Bill 879. I now move we bring Senate Bill 849 before the committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Senate Bill 849 is before the committee. I now move that we do pass Senate Bill 849. Do I have a second? Okay. Discussion on that one. This, again, is the solar bill we heard last week with Senator Fitzpatrick's bill. It's Senator O'Loughlin's. And I think it's good. They're going to be combined at some point. And I'm going to vote for it today, but this moratorium part, I think, has got a problem that we're going to have to deal with on the floor. But I'm going to vote for it today to move it forward. And any further discussion on this? Senator Gregory.
I would echo those sentiments on the moratorium part. That does give me a lot of pause when we talk about rights of landowners. And I think we heard that in witness testimony last week. However, on the flip side of that, it being a Wild West and different counties treating things differently, I do think it needs a long, further, hard look. But I would continue to like to work with the bill sponsors. I've talked with them and let them know that my willingness to work definitely equals moratorium portion of it coming out in its final form, because I do think we need to address the situation here, and I would like to think that that can happen. So.
I agree. I know I talked to the pro tem about this bill, and she's assured me that she won't call for it until they make a lot of progress up there. And I trust that that's going to happen. And I think Cindy's aware of where many of us are, and we'll be working on this going forward. So, any further discussion? Yes, sir.
Just
Harrison.
one thing, very seldom have I ever, ever left after a committee hearing going, I don't know what the right thing to do is. And I'm kind of like Senator Gregory. You left there and you felt very strongly both ways. I think a moratorium is probably too far, but people had some great testimony on both sides of this, and a lot of families are being affected. So we have to at least take it on and have some discussion on it, in my opinion.
I agree. Thank you. I've already made the do pass motion, so Michelle, will you call the roll?
Senator Cierpiot.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Bernsketter. Carter. Fitzwater. Gregory. May. McCreary. Mosley.
6-3. By your vote of 6-3, you have voted do pass Senate Bill 849. I now move that we leave executive session. Do I have a second? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are out of executive session. Now for the regular hearing. The first bill we're going to hear today is Senate Bill 1060. Senator Henderson, are you ready? Did I do it right? Okay. Something in my brain gets way behind my mouth. This one. Supplies. Senator Henderson, begin when you'd like.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. For the record, Mike
Just-
Henderson.
Just a second, Senator. It is Senate Bill 1060. Let me explain. This is Senator Mary Elizabeth Coleman's bill. She can't be here today, so she asked Senator Henderson to present it for her.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. For the record, Mike Henderson, State Senator from 3rd Senatorial District. This is not my bill. I was going to explain that. It's Senator Coleman's. I think she had a funeral that she was at today. She asked me if I'd present it. If you don't know, we share Jefferson County. I have about a third of it. The area that's being affected by this is outside my district, but probably just by a couple miles. So it's right there on the edge of my district, and I've talked with a lot of the people from Jefferson County about the importance of it. So the James Hardy Building Products could have picked anywhere in North America for its latest manufacturing facility, but they chose Jefferson County. It's a $400 million investment in a new 1.25 million square foot manufacturing facility in Crystal City, Missouri that will create 240 great-paying full-time jobs. There is now uncertainty with water service to the site that needs resolved, and that is the purpose of this legislation. Water is one of the 4 main ingredients into Hardy's product, Hardy board, or concrete siding. Senate Bill 1060 sets up an additional method for a landowner to detach from a public water supply district. Missouri has numerous water detachment processes allowed currently in statute, and this adds one more. Senate Bill 1060 is drafted in a way to ensure that no one is harmed, including the water district or its current customers. There are several witnesses here to testify who have been involved in this project coming to Jefferson County and have firsthand knowledge of the current water supply delay being caused by the public water district. The legislation only applies to Jefferson County Power, Water, Sewer District, but is not limited to any single property or project and is available to any property meeting the qualifications. And the qualifications are: the simplified process is available when the property to be detached does not receive water from the PWSD, is not currently served by the PWSD, and where the PWSD has no infrastructure. The process can only be initiated by those who own the land on a voluntary basis, and other voters cannot reside on the property if seeking detachment. The cost of detachment are borne entirely by the petitioner, not by the taxpayers. This bill restores the right of unserved landowners to choose the most competitive water source provider. Instead of lengthy litigation, a public hearing must be held for objections as part of the process. The circuit court shall dismiss the detachment petition if any conditions are not met, and requires the board of directors to accept payment for any debt owed to the federal government. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Senator. Before I do that, if anybody, as your bill is done or as your testimony is completed, if you'd leave and vacate your seat, we have people in the hallway that would love to join us, so if you keep that in mind. So I'm assuming that if you're a company who's suffering with this problem, you have to be on the border of the water district, I guess. Can they cross existing infrastructure to bring a different companies or different water suppliers pipe in? Do you know, or
Well, I can speak to this instance, what's going on. There is no pipe going to where they're building this structure. The water district doesn't have any pipe going there. Crystal City says they can bring it in.
are they close to the boundary of these water districts?
That's my understanding. And
Okay.
again, it's not my bill,
I know.
and there's probably some people who can answer some of these questions better than me.
Okay.
But I do know that there's no existing pipe going there. At least that's my understanding. Crystal City will bring it in. What we don't want to have happen is this business be held up because they can't get water there and bring these jobs to Missouri.
Right.
That's the whole idea.
And the incumbent provider can't provide that water to, is that right?
And my understanding, and they're probably going to testify today, my understanding, they really don't want to.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Senator McCrary.
I guess my concern is if this is as big of a deal as it sounds, like, how far along is this company in putting together this giant facility? And like, is it critical? Like, what's the timeline that they need this water by?
I think there's some people who will be able to answer if
Okay.
you don't mind here in just a minute.
Okay, and then my other question is just if it has any impact on other people, like families, residential, that are part of that district and how it might impact them.
And my understanding is, no, there are no other people there, so it's not going to detach. If you remember, there's a part of this bill where you can't detach if there's other owners in there.
Right, I
So-
understand that, but I'm talking about other ratepayers in that district.
In the water district?
In the water district.
I think some people are going to tell you that the water district is fine with them going the other way, at least, and again, not my
Yeah,
bill, but
yeah.
what I understand. But they want a payment in lieu maybe
Okay.
in there, and
Okay.
so they can explain that to you then, I think.
Sounds good, thank you.
People want to testify in favor of this bill? How many in opposition? Oh, this will be quick. Thank you. Okay, first in favor, please come forward. Okay. First in favor, please come forward. And everybody, if you testify, please have a witness form. You can leave at the table and let us know who you are.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the committee. Mackenzie Smith-Leday, appearing on behalf of James Hardy Building Products, Inc., in support of Senator Coleman's Senate Bill 1060. This legislation is largely an economic development bill before your committee today. Due to our current experience in developing a new manufacturing site in Jefferson County to be our 12th North American manufacturing facility, and the challenges we continue to encounter relative to the provision of the quantity and quality of water, we support Senate Bill 1060. Water is one of the 4 critical raw materials we need to manufacture our durable fiber cement exterior siding and trim that's installed on homes throughout North America. And since we announced our project in Crystal City, Missouri in 2022, we have not been able to make final decisions on who will provide the quality and quantity water we need at the site due to the actions of the local water district. In fact, we're currently in litigation trying to detach from that water district's boundaries in district court over the issue of water. For reasons I'll provide in greater detail in a minute. That proceeding is in litigation now and will likely last at least another year, further stalling our project and a decision on who will provide our critical raw material of water. We support Senate Bill 1060 because it creates a fair, streamlined path for landowners to detach from the geographic boundaries of a public water supply district that does not provide the landowners with water service, while also helping current water district ratepayers by ensuring that water districts cannot refuse unconditional monetary donations offered to pay down a water district's debts. A few additional details to help clarify how this legislation supports economic development. First, as I mentioned, we announced that we would build our 12th facility in 2022. Governor Parsons and other state and local leaders were there to celebrate our announcement. At that time, it's my understanding that we were informed that the local water district was not interested in providing water to our site due to the quantity and specific quality of water needed, and that local water district did not, and testified recently before the House committee, still does not want to provide water service to our site, even though our site is located within the geographic boundaries of that public water district. Instead, the city of Crystal City had always provided water and infrastructure to our site and desires to do so and has indicated that it can in the future. So we assumed we would move forward with identifying a different entity, and we notified Crystal City that we would appreciate collaborating with the city to build the needed infrastructure. At some point over a year ago, the local water district advised that it desired to provide water services to our site, but in a legal letter stated that it would require that James Hardy undergo all necessary due diligence and engineering, build the entire infrastructure in the local water district's territory, and then deed over that entire infrastructure to the local water district to operate, even though they do not have the resources or capabilities to operate water infrastructure of that magnitude. That letter did not mention collaborating with James Hardie on resources, only that we would build it and then deed it over to the water district and guarantee it for a year. The alternative option demanded by the local water district was to pay the local water district through an agreement with Crystal City a monthly fee, simply for the fact that our site is located within the geographic boundaries of the local water district, even though the local water district still does not desire to provide services to our site. To our knowledge, the local water district does not provide services to other landowners and/or businesses near our site and within its geographic boundaries, and those landowners and/or businesses do not pay a fee similar to the fee that the local water district has demanded of James Hardie. To our knowledge, the local water district has the ability to demand the fee because it holds debt guaranteed by the federal government, a loan guaranteed by, I believe, USDA. That gives it, to my understanding, the legal rights to demand that monthly fee from James Hardie. So James Hardie gratuitously, and to the benefit of the local water district's ratepayers, paid off that debt of the water district. The local water district returned that payment to James Hardie and refused to accept it, despite that it would eliminate a significant cost of the district and save it interest. This was in spite of the fact that, to our knowledge, the district raised its rates on its ratepayers only a few weeks before, citing increased costs. So where does that leave James Hardie? 4 years since our announcement and unable to move forward quickly or with confidence on who will provide us water. We are spending resources on litigation when we simply want to work with any community stakeholders who will collaborate to help build the necessary infrastructure to provide us quality water instead of issuing legal letters. We support Senate Bill 1060 because it does two things. One, it provides a more efficient process to detach than full-blown litigation. An additional option only if the water district does not currently provide services or infrastructure and there are no other voters on the land seeking detachment. It's an alternative option to detach versus the litigation we're in now. And two, it requires that a local water district accept a gratuitous payment on behalf of its ratepayers of its debt versus returning that payment to maintain federal legal rights and increasing its rates. In conclusion, Senate Bill 1060 primes the county for further economic development should another business or property owner find itself similarly unserved, yet locked into a district's boundaries. They, too, could use this neutral, clear process to detach without harming the district's finances or ratepayers. Thank you.
Thank you. So earlier in your talk, you talked about the quantity and quality of water. What do you mean by quality of water?
It's a proprietary, the chemical composition of the water is proprietary, but our products are non-combustible, durable, resilient, hail-resistant, pest-resistant, water-resistant. And because water is one of 4 critical raw materials, we have to have a certain water composition that goes into our process to manufacture our siding and trim.
And this area has, you talk about softness or hardness or something of water?
Yeah, exactly. So it
Okay.
has to be treated with lime softener in a certain way. We do have a water expert here who can answer any kind of
Okay.
detailed
But
questions.
that's kind of
about water.
uniquely in that area?
It is unique to that
It
area.
might explain Mr. Henderson's behavior sometimes. Weird water. So where do the local businesses near where you're putting this plant, you say they're there working today, where do they get water from right now? Is it just wells, or do they
I
have?
believe many of the businesses on the road that leads to our site receive water from Crystal City, Missouri.
So they've
Yes.
already done what you're trying to do, just on a smaller scale?
I don't know if they've detached. I think they've just received water from Crystal City, and it's never been an issue. This is, to my understanding, this is the first time we've had an issue like this, whereby the local water district is demanding a fee simply because we are located in their geographic
So
boundaries.
you can get water from a different water district, but you don't detach?
We can get water from Crystal City. I think the law is designed in a way in which technically you detach from that water district to get water from another source. I don't know if that process has been utilized by everyone in the past.
Okay, how far is this plant from the boundary of the water district?
I don't know the answer to that question. It's within the geographic boundaries, but there are no pipes that actually extend onto our property. Crystal City has pipes that extend onto our property, but not water.
And so the
water
incumbent
district.
water company, Public Water Supply, you may have to cross their pipes to get to Crystal City Supply? So I assume you need a lot of water, 4-inch or 6-inch pipe or something?
Well, based on the demands of the Public Water District 12, we would have to build the pipes to enter our site and all of the infrastructure
Right.
needed to treat the water so that it's
Right.
of the quality we need.
But if you do what you're trying to do, you're going to build that too, right? To
We
the-
would work
right.
with Crystal
Right.
City. They
Okay.
already have, Crystal City already has the capacity to provide us the water that
Mm-hmm.
we need. It would need to be adjusted and treated so that we receive the quality water we need, but it already has that capacity whereby Public Water District 12 does not have the capacity to provide us the water we need.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Senator May?
I just have a quick question.
Oh, did he?
So your plant that you're building, James Hardy what?
Building products?
James Hardy Building Products.
Yes.
And what county is that?
Jefferson County.
Jefferson County. Okay, thank you.
Senator Briscoe?
You said, you talked about treating the water. Are you all treating the water, or the public water district has to treat the water to your specifications?
The Public Water District would treat the water to our specifications, and then it would be piped in.
Okay, and you don't know how far the other water district has to bring the pipes to get to you? How many miles or yards or feet or whatever?
The current Public Water District 12 has pipe that, it's not of the size needed, but it
Oh.
does have a small pipe that ends right before our property. The issue is with the amount of water
The
that we
width of the
need,
pipe.
and then treating that water and the infrastructure needed to do that. And that already exists with Crystal City. And I believe, and there is a water expert here who can speak better to this than I can, I believe that there would need to be additional wells tapped or something of that nature if Public Water District 12 were to provide us water.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Senator McCurry?
I'm a little bit confused by the part of the bill that talks about acceptance of monetary contributions, and then you talked about a monthly fee. Can you try to explain that?
I can
It's not
help
anything
clarify.
I've ever heard in my time in this building.
I did not do a great job in testifying about it. So there are two different monetary issues at play here. One is that the Public Water District 12 has an outstanding loan guaranteed by the federal government. And under federal water rights, that gives Public Water District 12 the ability to say, you can't detach. We have to be able to identify any resources available to pay off that loan. And since you might build a facility, we need to hang on to you because it could help pay off that loan. And so we cannot simply get water from Crystal City because they have that loan and they need to find all resources available. So with respect to that loan, we paid it off. We paid the amount outstanding on that loan. I believe it's about $150,000-ish. We paid that loan off to the bank. And then the Public Water District 12 said, no, bank, repay James Hardy. We don't want you to pay off our loan. And testified before the House Committee that they will pay interest and pay off that loan all the way until 2033. So that's issue number one.
Okay.
So the bill says if in that scenario, if someone gratuitously, unconditional, there are no conditions put on that, pays off your loan, you have to accept that to the benefit of your ratepayers.
I think a lot of people would be happy to have their loan paid off, but that's just me, so.
The other issue is because we are located within their geographic boundaries, and they have those federal water rights. Public Water District 12 has said to us, we don't want to provide you water service, or that was the testimony before the House, but you will pay a fee, and that gets negotiated with Crystal City. You will pay a monthly fee indefinitely because you are located in our boundaries. We will not provide you services, but because you're located in our boundaries, you're going to pay us a fee.
Did they say what that fee is?
It would amount to, I have the notes somewhere.
I mean, are we talking?
maybe $1 million a year or something to that extent.
Okay. Wow.
And so, of course, James Hardy is not interested in paying a fee without getting any services in return. We're just not interested in that, which is
Well,
why
I
we're
mean,
trying to figure out.
Eventually, things like that get rolled into the cost of a product, and I mean, you have a good product. I like your product. So, yeah, so I think that is what we're trying to get at here is how to solve this problem so that you can make your product. And when you did the big announcement in 2022 with Governor Parson, when were you thinking you would have folks working there and producing these products?
At the time, we were hopeful it'd be last year or this year.
Okay.
But I mean, there are roads being built right now around the infrastructure. There's bulk earthworks happening, and just time, it has not been on our side.
Okay.
And then you've got the issue of water. It
Yeah.
takes anywhere from 2 to 5 years to figure out water infrastructure if anything has to be built.
Okay.
So that would further delay.
Very good. Thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Next in favor, please come forward. Seeing none, first person in opposition, please come forward. Opposition going once? Opposition going twice? Don't be bashful.
Good morning. My name's Brad Bryant. I'm the district manager for Public Water District 12. There's a green light on. My name's Brad Bryant. I'm the district manager at Public Water District number 12 in Festus, Missouri. I'm not a public speaker, so please bear with me. A little nervous today, but I feel like this bill and the House companion to it is kind of a waste of time. All this stuff is already in the court system. It is scheduled for a September hearing. I don't know why there has to be a change to the law for this bill obviously applies only to Jefferson County. And I'm concerned that in the future it would set a precedent that would allow it to go statewide. And the fact of paying off the loan, that is many across the state, small rural water districts rely on that territorial protection to keep municipalities from eating them up, basically. And if you remove that protection by allowing someone to basically buy it out, on principle, I don't think that's a fair thing to do. It really hurts the small rural water districts that I am one of. We definitely want this project. We want it to move forward. There's no doubt about that. My board of directors that I represent, 100% behind the project. But we feel like because it's in our territory, that we should be able to provide the water to them, and we will find the source for that water. And then they will, I think almost all rural water districts across the state are the same. If you need infrastructure to provide for your project, you build it and deed it over to the water district, basically. We've done that in the past with churches. We're currently in a project with Ameren UE that's doing the same thing. That's not out of the ordinary. That's normal. A subdivision goes in, the developer has to put the lines in and then test them and give it over to the water district. So that part is kind of a moot point there. That's just the way it works. Small rural water districts don't have the capital typically to do a project, and it's certainly not a project. Please realize for this factory project, this is something where the amount of water is something that you couldn't predict. It's a lot of water. The number I've been told is 1.2 million gallons a day. That's a lot of water, no matter where it comes from. And it's hard, for us as a small district. We planned on developing up in that area, and we extended an 8-inch water main up there, but that's not sufficient to supply what they need. It would supply other items, other industries or residential, but it's just not enough to supply 1.2 million gallons a day. the fact of the paying off the loan, that's something that I really took exception to because of the way it was handled. We were notified about a week and a half, roughly, after it happened by the bank representative coming to our office and saying, here's your papers for your paid-off loan. And that's the first we heard anything of it. But ironically, the loan was paid off either on or very near the day that the court case was filed, with one of the lines on the petition to the court saying that we have no federal debt. So I feel like it was an underhanded attempt to circumvent the process. But our attorneys reviewed our paperwork. They said that no one's allowed to pay down that debt except the water district, which is the reason for the second part of this bill. I know there's some other things dealing with 1926B protection. That's the territorial protection. There's some people here today that know a little more than I do about that, so I'll let them talk a little more, but I'd be happy to answer questions.
Okay, thank you. So we were told that there's other businesses in this geographic area that have water, but you don't provide it. Do you know where they get that water from?
Well, there is one road leading to this plant site. It's called Airport Road. It's a former airport that they're developing. And roughly, I didn't count them, but roughly half of the people there get their water from Crystal City and half get it from us. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there are 17 businesses and residences total within Crystal City boundaries that we serve. But the fact is, on some of this, that property wasn't annexed until the 1990s. We had lines there. I can't speak for how that happened, why it happened. That's long before my time. I don't know.
So your water district has customers in Crystal City because their water district didn't used to go out there?
Yeah, well, our infrastructure was there, and then they annexed over time into our area.
So do these folks that get Crystal City water, but they're in your footprint, do they pay a monthly fee for that right ability?
No.
They don't?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, but these new people are going to be paying a monthly fee if you guys prevail?
Right.
Okay. And how far is this?
Nobody's ever approached us before saying, we're going to go with Crystal City.
That all happened before the annexation?
Yeah, I've
law,
been
okay.
at the Water District 23 years, and this is the first new construction, if I'm not mistaken, in that area.
Where is the boundary now? How far is the boundary from this site between Crystal City and PW 12 or whatever it's called?
It goes probably a half mile further north.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they said, okay, you provide us the water and all, how much would that cost? Because it's not just a pipeline. You have to increase the capacity of their plant to produce water too, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we're talking about rebuilding the whole system more or less.
Yeah, for us to supply water there, it would be, I've heard the number $30 to $40 million.
Has the mayor or county council, or have they weighed in trying to get this plant? 'Cause I'm sure they want the jobs and the businesses there.
We have attempted 3 times to work with Crystal City for an intergovernmental agreement, and been shut down every time. They're not interested in talking to us about it.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Senator Gregory.
So I just question, I'm trying to understand this portion of it, the second portion of it you reference, because I know if someone showed up and paid off one of the numerous loans I have at the bank, for me, I'm going to say, thank you very much. I've got this other one too. Can you help out, right?
Right.
In your case, 150 grand, that may not amount to a lot for ratepayers, but it still does amount to a lot for ratepayers. Why could you not accept that? Why did you choose to not accept that?
It was not offered to the water district. It was done directly to the bank without our knowledge, for one thing. We weren't aware of it until sometime after.
But
And the other reason, would you be apt to accept that money to pay off the loan if that meant that somebody could come in and take your house? Because that's essentially what it is. Without that federal protection, then somebody can detach from us, somebody could remove themselves from our district a lot easier.
previous witness said that you all are not able to supply the amount of water they need. How much did you say that was? Was it million or billion?
1.2 million per day is the number that I've heard,
Per day.
per day.
Okay, then I hope someone can maybe come back up because I saw you shaking your head when that was referenced earlier. So I don't know if we can bring it back up to clarify that question. I don't know. I'd just like to get to the bottom of it. Thanks so much.
Yep.
So I guess the question is, are you able to provide that water that they are needing?
We are not able to provide it with our current infrastructure, no. It would
So-
take significant changes to our infrastructure to be able to do it.
And they would have to be the ones to create this infrastructure.
Correct.
Questions? Seeing none. Thank you for your testimony.
Next.
Next in opposition, please come forward. Make sure you get a form there and fill it out if you would.
Hello, I'm Dave Waller. I'm currently president of Missouri Rural Water Association. I've been in the water industry since about 1974. I've managed water district. I've also was honored to sit on an interim committee that kind of dealt with this issue in the late 80s and early 90s. So this is not new. But we're here in opposition to the bill on 2 points. One, as an industry, we defend that territorial protection provision of USDA pretty strongly. So while this is written really well to be just Jefferson County, it's got to be a template for the rest of the state. So that territorial protection is a big part of water district life. The second part, the paying of off the loan, we're kind of against anything that you mandate to accept money for a specific purpose, regardless of what other circumstances might be going on in the district. As it indicated, you know, if you get rid of that, you get rid of territorial protection. So that's a big deal. 247, which is a statute that water districts are formed under, has several sections about intergovernmental agreement. One of the issues with this is the fact that we've allowed municipalities to expand over top of water district boundaries, both of them public entities, both of them public, parts of the state, without really addressing who does that in a fixed manner. There's a short window where they can force a territorial agreement. Obviously, that didn't happen. So there's also language that the water district needs to be informed whenever economic development reaches out to a municipality. I don't know if that happened. There's a lot about the project itself I don't know, so, but that's a big part. But to move it forward, I think that this bill will generate a lot of lawsuits, whether it's constitutional, local, federal, so those could drag on. And I think like everybody else in the state and in the room, we'd like to see this project up and running as quickly as possible. So, and that would require the two entities, the public entities, Crystal City and the Water District, to come to some sort of an agreement.
So we're saying Crystal City, I guess, has the capacity to do
As-
this tomorrow.
To my knowledge, from what I've
I've
heard,
heard from
and
them.
they have the capacity and are able to come up to the quality.
Okay.
But this
And-
is, go ahead.
And you say you represent rural water districts across the state.
Yes, we're an association of rural water districts and small municipalities.
Is there a standard on how much excess capacity they should have? So if you do have a housing addition or a company moving in, they can accommodate them? Or is it always just right on the cusp, but they can't have anybody come?
Water districts, which were formed in the 60s, were built to a very tight standard about their current need. So as they grew,
Right.
then they began to develop lines and infrastructure to meet these kind of situations.
Is there a standard how much excess capacity you should have?
There is not.
There is not.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Not enough to address this kind of an issue.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Senator Mosley.
The other person alluded to some court case that's coming up. What is that court case about?
As I understand it, and I'm well on the outside of what's going on there, I understand that Hardy Manufacturing has sued or taken to court the water district to detach from them. And now, if there's anything else involved in that lawsuit, I'm not familiar with it.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. And make sure you fill out a form, please. Anybody else in opposition? I think we had a couple people outside that wanted to speak. Huh? Okay, are we good after? Okay, hold up, Artie.
Mr. Chairman, I was one of them. I don't know if anybody else out there was in opposition. Where does this go? This right there. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dinoff, State Public Advocate. I posed this a few weeks ago with Representative Castile in the House Utilities Committee. I believe it was January 14th. It was House Bill 1917. And this is a local issue. It's in the courts. We have our separation of our branches of government, the executive, legislative, and judicial. Public Supply Water District number 12, there is a contract between the two parties, and there's a disagreement. There's a lawsuit that's been filed in the Jefferson County Circuit Court. And this whole issue is turning into special legislation, which is deemed unconstitutional, not only by the circuit courts of our state, but the appellate courts, and of course our Missouri Supreme Court. This issue is turning into the wild, wild west and is setting a new path in a new direction. It's unfair to the other water districts and other political subdivisions throughout the state. This is the governing body, is the Public Water District number 12. They can enter into intergovernmental agreements. It's done all the time with fire protection districts, with all sorts of districts across the board. As a matter of fact, the entire chapter 247 needs to be rewritten, strengthened, and taxpayers guarded. For example, water board compensation in Public Water Supply District number 2, they pay the 5 commissioners and they appoint some of their friends to the board. They pay over $25,000 of compensation and salary because they formed a shell entity called the East Central Missouri Water and Sewer Authority for a 45-minute monthly meeting. They cater meals and they're ripping off the ratepayers, in my opinion. So that's why the entire chapter needs to be rewritten, because the state law says they can get no more than $200 per meeting per month. And I believe there's a limit on the amount of meetings, but for some reason they're absurding and violating the law and paying themselves over $25,000 in compensation and salary. In this case, there's too many variables and contradicting facts. That's why the Circuit Court of Jefferson County should have the time to rule, and the legislature, either the House or the Senate, shouldn't interject at this time before there's a clear ruling and appellate path by the courts. It would be a violation of the Constitution of Missouri and the separation of powers. This is special and targeted legislation, clearly unconstitutional by the Missouri Supreme Court, and therefore I oppose SB 1060. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Questions? Seeing none. Thank you for your
Thank you.
testimony. Anybody else in opposition?
Good morning. Oop, good. Can you hear me all right?
Make sure you get one of those forms, okay?
Good morning, as Chairman Cierpiot and members of the committee. Good morning. My name is Cole Ariola Carr. I'm the Managing Director of the Missouri Special Districts Association. We are a brand new organization that just formed actually last month to represent and educate on the best interests and the good services that special districts do across the state. Public water supply districts are, of course, a big component of that. And we are here in opposed position to SB 1060. Although we appreciate the concerns that we've heard this morning on economic development and the issues there, of course, that's something that special districts are definitely proponents of, economic development and strong communities and a strong force. But we are opposed out of concerns for the most of what you've heard this morning, precedents that this would set for detachments, not only starting in Jefferson County. There are unintended consequences that could happen here with a number of other public water supply districts that exist in Jefferson County. But then again, stepping beyond that, there are more than 200 public water supply districts across the state under Chapter 247, which this could, be a sliding slope for. So we are concerned for that, citing that there are detachment procedures that are already in place under 247. Beyond this, there is a concern for setting a precedent that, of course, private landowners being able to essentially buy out a public bond, public debt for interest of moving forward specific projects. That is another concern, that there is a little bit of a precedent setter there for in terms of local government concerns. So in all, we are concerned that this bill undermines the Public Water Supply District's Enabling Act under Chapter 247. It erodes local control, and in all, that's pretty much wraps up our concern and opposition to this bill. Happy
Thank
to
you.
answer any questions.
Would you help me understand, we've heard that Crystal City has some clients, maybe before annexation took place, but in the footprint of this public water district, but that's not considered detached. Can you explain what detached means?
Yeah, so when it comes to attachment or detachment, that is more of it's a legal procedure, a governmental procedure more than it is whatever is a fundamental regulatory procedure of the infrastructure in the ground. So when we're talking about attachment and detachments, we're talking about the actual service area for which, in this case, Public Water Supply District 12 can actually provide that it services. It cannot go beyond unless there's any kind of agreement, and that goes both ways. Of course, it's all about funding, territorial jurisdiction, and how that gets divvied out. Now, the infrastructure that might be in the ground, again, barring any kind of specifics on knowledge on the history of this particular situation, the concern there is, that might predate whatever the boundaries may be, and therefore, there's a procedure to go through to try to remedy
So
that.
today, if anybody wants to get water from a different company, post-annexation, post-boundaries changing, that is always called detachment?
There's going to have to be some sort of agreement that's in place if there is something that is coming into place, an external
But that's
water
considered
supplier.
detachment?
No, the detachment would actually have to go through and be a proceeding that would go through essentially the circuit court that would have to approve that
Okay, thank
formally.
you. Other questions? Seeing none. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
Anybody
sir.
else in opposition? I believe we had some for information purposes. How many for information purposes? Okay, could you come up and provide your testimony? Again, make sure you do a witness form. I don't see many of them on that table.
Good morning. Hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Jim McClish with Horner Schifrin Engineers here speaking on behalf of James Hardy in regards to water quality and technical issues related to getting water to their site. We were retained by James Hardy to figure out how to get their quality and quantity of water to their property. City of Crystal City has available capacity currently, and they have the right quality of water. As Mackenzie talked about, there's very detailed technical information, mineralogy that's in the water that has to happen or their product fails. There's been an extensive engineering effort looking at all that, trying to reduce the overall cost of water for their facility, because this is a challenge for any small community or rural water district to take such a big undertaking for a utility. So they have a requirement of 600,000 gallons a day for the first phase of James Hardy development. That's what my understanding is they've agreed with the city, that's what they're going to build initially. Eventually, they will need another 600,000 gallons. So they have asked that the cost of water be reduced as far as it possibly can be. That was a challenge we had to undertake. We looked at all kinds of options, did pilot testing. There was an extensive amount of work where water samples, we're talking 5 gallons at a time, pallets of it sent out to their research facility to try to look at, can we use hard water? Do we need soft water? Can we take water straight out of the well in the ground? All those efforts ended up in product failures that they're testing. So they have come back with very stringent water quality requirements that they got to have. They said we need a lime sulfide water treatment plant. So I can answer any questions you might have about those topics.
So whatever needs to be done to the water that you all are talking about, still people on that pipeline are going to be drinking it, so it's not harmful for human consumption after it's treated?
That is correct. It'll meet all Safe Drinking Water Act standards, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah.
Senator Mosby.
I think it's more of a statement. I don't know. You all, when you have a company like this, you don't work all these things out before you decide to go to a certain area. You don't work out all these unforeseen or foreseen problems that you may occur before you decide to go into an area.
That's a question for James Hardy, but we are in the business of figuring out water supply to municipalities, rural water districts, and industries, yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? Seeing none, make sure you do a witness form, please. The point of that is if we don't have a witness form, we don't show you as officially testifying, so you want to do that. Next, for information purposes, please come forward. And I hate to do this, but if we can move along, we got 3 more bills to hear, so.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, good morning. My name is David Courtway. I'm Director of Administration for Jefferson County Government. I'm not going to tell you what's constitutional or not constitutional. It's up to the courts. But I never thought I'd hear it be a controversy, people paying off public debt. Well, that's a new one for me. So, Jefferson County was elated for a once-in-a-generation decision and announcement in 2022, almost 4 years ago, that James Hardie Building Products would build its 12th North American fiber cement siding and trim manufacturing facility at the old Festus Airport, located in Jefferson County inside city limits of Crystal City. The recruiting effort was very much collaborative effort with federal, state, county, and local leaders. The governor came down to a grand opening announcement, not a grand opening, but announcement of the facility at the City Hall in Crystal City. It was widely acclaimed in the media. The question was asked earlier, how critical is this? We are in the process, and the county is managing about $40 million worth of infrastructure improvements right now. It is ongoing. If you drive down along I-55, you're going to see dirt moved, bridges being ready to put in. Timing is of the essence. We're supportive of James Hardie efforts to be the best community partner that it can be as building activity continues. We are at the point in this project that a resolution to the water and service supply issue needs to be accomplished. The county executive and myself have been in meetings with the water district and the city in hopes of something being worked out. We can't ride the calendar out. Something has to be done. It's my understanding that the city has indicated they could provide the infrastructure and supply the water line. I know you're pressed for time, so I'll say again, close. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to this subject. Water is key. You've heard that today. Everything else is moving along.
Thank you for your testimony. So are both of the entities in Jefferson County, Crystal City and the PW12?
Yes, sir.
And you guys don't get these folks to sit down and just fix this locally?
We've attempted.
Okay.
We've attempted.
Because it is a big deal for a county.
It is a big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal. The state has committed resources. The county has committed resources to this. And we just need a resolution.
Okay. Are these boards elected?
I believe their board is elected.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Questions? Senator Bernsketter.
So somebody mentioned earlier there's a lawsuit going on,
That is my understanding in Jefferson County.
so you're not part of that?
We are not part of that.
So do you think we should pass this legislation, or do you think we wait till the lawsuit comes through?
I'll give you my personal opinion. That's
Okay, that's good.
Time is of the essence. And
And
the people in this building can pass laws, and the governor signs those laws, and the courts rule favorably and unfavorably. But this is a critical manufacturing facility going in that's going to create good paying jobs and a lot of jobs, and timing is of the essence.
So what is the lawsuit in regards to? Do you know?
I can't speak to that.
Because when we pass legislation, unless it has an emergency clause, it won't go into effect till September.
I believe there was testimony that it could take probably a year or more for that lawsuit to be resolved, and timing's of the essence.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Further questions? Seeing
Thank
none,
you.
thank you for your testimony. Thanks for being brief. Next, for information, please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Subhash Alias. I lead an organization called Missouri Partnership. Missouri Partnership, we're a public-private nonprofit economic development group. We really do one thing, and that's work to attract companies to the state. Our public sector partner is the Missouri Department of Economic Development, and our private sector partner is the Hawthorne Foundation. Attracting companies to the state is incredibly complex. It's not as simple as picking up a phone and asking a company to come to Missouri. There's a very deliberate, calculated process that looks at quantitative and qualitative issues as part of that decision process. We are very much involved in that. We offer bespoke opportunities. We're marketing the state. We're the group that is responsible for bringing new companies to Missouri. This plant, James Hardie, they're expected to invest $400 million and create and build a 1.25 million square foot manufacturing plant and 240 high-paying jobs. For reference, for scale, this would be among the largest business attraction projects that our organization has worked on. We've been around since 2008. When it comes to square footage, it is the largest. 1.25 million square feet is massive for a manufacturing plant. We've seen other large facilities like this, but they're typically distribution centers. So this is full of equipment. It is a massive and exciting opportunity. Our competitive business climate is one of the things that we tout when we are courting companies like James Hardie's and others. And so while challenges do come up, we don't want to see delays as that erodes our ability to show that we are open for business in the state. It is important for us and the state that some sort of a solution comes to light. We want to demonstrate that Missouri, Crystal City, Jefferson County are open for business so we can get these Missourians to work and we can attract more companies to the state. We were there for the announcement back in 2022, and we are very much looking forward to seeing this facility open in the near future. Thank you very much for letting me speak today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
If the water wasn't a problem, would this plant be up and working by now?
I would guess so, but I'm not building the building.
But they haven't
I would
started any
imagine so.
construction or anything yet?
They have not done vertical construction yet.
Okay, thank you. Questions? So, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else for information purposes? That will conclude the hearing on Senate Bill 1060. Next, we'll hear. Is Bean here? Okay, Jay. Senator Berger. Senate Bill 1009. Senator, before you start, let me ask, how many people want to testify on 1009? For 1009 or against 1009? For 1009? Okay, that's not too bad. We got to hear 3 more bills, so if we can be brief, that'd be great. Concise and brief. Senator Berger, begin when you're ready.
I'm getting there. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present Senate Bill 1009 dealing with the Clean Water Commission. This has to be the cleanest bill I've ever presented. Currently, at least one member of the Clean Water Commission shall be knowledgeable concerning the needs of publicly owned wastewater treatment works. This legislation removes the 2-year waiting period that a member must wait before he or she can be eligible to serve on the Clean Water Commission. It is difficult to find qualified experts on wastewater standards to serve on the commission, and to make them wait for 2 years after they have been employed at a wastewater treatment facility makes it even more difficult. This bill removes that restriction. This bill does not change the makeup of the commission, only removes the 2-year wait period for the commission position. Under the new appointment method, members shall exempt themselves from participating in discussions and from voting on issues due to any conflict of interest with a current employer. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank
Again,
you,
it's very
Senator.
simple.
Thank you. Any questions for Senator Berger? Seeing none. The first person in favor of this bill, please come forward. For the record, that's a great haircut.
I like yours too. Good morning, Senators. My name is Jay Hoskins. I'm with the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District. I'm here to speak in support of Senate Bill 1009. I want to thank the Senator for sponsoring the bill. We appreciate his support. At essence, this bill is about helping Missouri ensure it has the most knowledgeable members on the Clean Water Commission. People employed at wastewater treatment facilities are often the most knowledgeable on clean water issues. Today, we only have one member on the commission. The bill would allow more than one if that's what the governor chose and you all chose to confirm for the commission. Also, we support removing that blanket 2-year cooling off period. My experience, we're facing a silver tsunami of retirees leaving our industry, and a lot of these people are good public servants, and they want to continue to serve their communities, but life happens in that 2 years, and they've moved to Florida, and they've started fishing, and we can't get them back. So this bill would help make sure that we can land those people on our commission to make sure that our citizens are best served. With that, I'll answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Questions for this witness or this? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Please leave your form there. Next in favor, please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Lynn Schlosser. I'm here today on behalf of your hometown utilities, MPUA. I'd like to go on record in support, thank the senator. Also, our water expert had to leave to get to another meeting at 11, and I've got her witness form as well.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Seeing none, thanks, Lynn.
Thanks.
Next, anybody else in favor, please come forward.
Good morning, Senators. My name is Mary Culler, and I'm with the Missouri Stream Team Watershed Coalition. Our organization is made up of Missourians who volunteer their time to take care of our state's rivers and streams through litter pickup activities and water education. We support the addition of wording related to members exempting themselves from discussions and voting if they have a conflict of interest. That sounds very logical, that if someone had a conflict of interest, that they would not involve themselves in discussions or voting on that issue. We also support allowing more than one commission member to represent publicly owned treatment works. There's hundreds and hundreds of wastewater facilities in the state, and their operating permits are complex, and it would be beneficial to have more than one member knowledgeable about these systems on the commission. So we do think that is an improvement to the current commission. Don't think it's exactly perfect. I will have more if we are able to address Senator Roberts' bill.
Thank you. Questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you very much. Anybody else in support? First in opposition, please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dinoff, State Public Advocate, and I have deposed this on the basis of ethics and transparency. I feel very strongly, as I did yesterday, I testified in the House Agricultural Committee against HB 1885, which is a similar bill. It's a companion bill. And I think we're going to hear from Senator Roberts about another bill changing the qualifications and the ethics for the entire makeup of the Water Commission, the Clean Water Commission. A member's income from water or wastewater works is wrong if he gets within 2 years, if it's a substantial amount of that person's income. I believe that the full 2-year waiting period is a protection for Missourians, for the state, and especially when it comes to contracts. As we all know, this building, it's all about money. It's not about what's good for citizens. It's about money, contracts, political appointments, and residual contracts. 2 years is a great cooling off period. These commission and boards rely on cooling off periods. As a matter of fact, you as a legislature cannot become a lobbyist, I believe, for, I believe 2 years. If not, I know it's definitely 1, but I'd have to check that rule exactly to see what that time period is. I'm sorry?
No, it's, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What is it?
It's one session. Go ahead.
Oh, so 2 years.
One session.
6 months? Okay. But I do believe in the 2-year period for the Clean Water Commissions. You're talking about a lot of contracts, a lot of power and control, and therefore I have to oppose SB 1009.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none. Next in opposition, please come forward. Anybody for information purposes? Thank you, Senator Berger. That will conclude the hearing on Senate Bill 1009. Next, we'll do Senate Bill 954. Yes, sir. Is your calendar cleared now so you can? Good.
I got another meeting in about 5 minutes.
You'll make it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, State Senator Jason Bean, representing the 25th District, here to present for your consideration Senate Bill 954. Senate Bill 954 creates new law relating to condemnation of land by certain utilities. The authority of any electrical corporation to condemn property shall not extend to the construction of any structure or facility that uses wind or solar energy to generate or manufacture electricity. What does this mean? Senate Bill 954 would make it so eminent domain cannot be used to condemn Missourians' property to construct new solar and wind facilities. Under this bill, electrical corporations would not be able to use eminent domain to construct any structure or facility that uses wind or solar energy to make electricity. As it is currently written in state statute, once a commercial solar or wind energy project is built, then the entity automatically has condemnation authority and the power of eminent domain. These statutory definitions were written decades ago when energy generation was like a coal plant, for example, a geographically concentrated footprint. But with solar and wind energy generation, we're talking a larger landscape when many of these laws were originally written. This legislation is about being proactive. Currently, solar and wind companies are negotiating leases with individual landowners, and these landowners are willingly deciding to enter these contracts. This is how I think it should be, and I view this as closing a loophole that is forward-looking before there are any condemnation actions in the future. If the adjacent landowner does not wish to have solar or wind projects on their land, I do not believe a scenario should exist which takes that decision away from them. This legislation addresses that scenario and specifies that solar and wind producing structures shall not have condemnation authority. In rural Missouri, I know this issue is becoming more contentious as some of these solar and wind developments are taking place on productive ag land. Senate Bill 954 is a small but measured step the legislation should take to address the need to balance the increasing development of land into solar or wind fields while protecting private property rights. This bill has a zero physical note, passed out of committee last year, and I would appreciate the support again. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Up to now, nobody has suffered from this, right?
That's correct.
Today. And the way I think about this, and I've had some conversations, that the location of the solar farms is not so much in question going forward, but but the transmission lines to get to them, that probably has got a potential.
We've had that in the
to be a
past,
sticking
but
point.
like I said, this is mainly addressing if you decide to have that, have a solar project on your farm, and I'm right next to you, this is saying you cannot use a
Sure, I
combination.
understand that. But I think there's going to be some question about the transmission lines getting to and from these things. We'll have to further that discussion going forward. So any questions for this witness? Seeing none. Thank you, Senator. How many people want to speak in favor of this bill? How many in opposition? How do you get no opponents? Please come forward, the first person in favor.
Thank you, sir.
All right, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Garrett Hawkins. I'm a farmer from Appleton City and serve as president of the Missouri Farm Bureau. I want to thank the bill sponsor, Senator Jason Bean, for his steadfast commitment to this issue. This has been several years of conversation, and he said it so well in terms of putting forth a piece of legislation that's actually proactive in trying to make sure that we don't see an abuse of eminent domain of this magnitude and in this space. So I want to be clear, this legislation is very simple and straightforward. It shouldn't be controversial. We're trying to close the loophole and make sure that eminent domain is not used in the wrong way to encroach upon a neighbor's property with regard to solar and wind development. So, you know, from an organizational standpoint, I truly believe that this bill, while simple, threads the needle between energy security and property rights, and I hope we can get it done this year. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions for this witness? I just have one. Are you guys going to get involved with the other solar bills we have?
Well, Mr. Chairman, you know, as I have visited with many of you through the years, you all know that we have a grassroots policy development process that is like no other. At our annual meeting in December, our members actually adopted policy with regard to setback requirements, thinking that that should happen at the state level, as well as a process for decommissioning in the event that an LLC were to go under, that the landowners affected aren't left holding the bag. So we do have more policy in this space.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Seeing no questions, thank you for your testimony. Next in favor, please come forward. Oh, boy.
Good morning,
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Jason Zamkus. I'm a registered lobbyist on behalf of the Missouri Corn Growers Association. Our association recognizes the importance of preserving agricultural land here in Missouri for future generations, and we oppose the use of eminent domain to convert farmland here into other uses. So for that reason, we'd like to go on record in support and happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none. Thank you, Jason. Next in favor, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Steve Hobbs, Missouri Association of Counties Executive Director, going on the record in favor of this legislation. And in light of the hour, I will keep my remarks to that. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Next in favor, please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, Shannon Cooper, representing the Missouri Cattlemen's Association today. We just want to go on record in support of this legislation and maybe be clear, we didn't have the opportunity last week to testify because there were so many people here about solar issues. You know, we want our landowners to be able to make the decisions on what's best for their property, but we don't want our neighbors to be able to force us to house those lines to help them get to the transmission site. So we support this bill. We are not in favor of a moratorium. We do support decommission funding as well as setbacks. But again, we don't want our neighbors being able to run their lines across our property without our permission.
Thank you. Questions for Shannon? Seeing none. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next in favor, please come forward. Holy smokes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Ryan Gill on behalf of Missouri Soybean Association. For reasons already stated by our ag partners, the core of our mission is preserving the right for farm families to produce in Missouri, and for that, we want to go on record in support.
Thank you. Do you guys know each other? Thank you.
Seen him around.
Any questions for this witness? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Next in favor, please
Thank
come
you.
forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dinov, State Public Advocate. I'm in support of SB 954. This bill is great prevention. It makes a lot of sense. I wish most of the bills were along these lines. Condemning property and use of eminent domain by utility companies for solar and wind projects is just wrong. If they can't come to a fair agreement, a fair cost of the land, then guess what? They don't get the property. I don't believe in running people out of their homes or running them off of their farms. I don't believe in eminent domain. As a matter of fact, I believe in a constitutional amendment to prohibit and to abolish any eminent domain. I'm fully in support of SB 954 to protect citizens over big utility corporations with the big price tag. It's about, with those big corporations, the amount of attorneys that they have and the power that they can have over one's life. I'm tired of utility companies trying to ruin farmers, multi-generational families, and taking people's homestead. For those reasons, I highly support this bill and other bills like it, protecting citizens over big corporations. Thank you,
for your
Mr. Chairman.
testimony. Any questions? Seeing none. Anybody else in favor? I got to tell you, that coalition is a little bit disorienting, but I appreciate it. That will conclude the hearing on Senate Bill 9. Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have any information? Thank you. Any information, please? We already did this. I asked and nobody's raised their hand. Zach, are you in opposition? No. Okay.
Good morning or afternoon. Sorry, I don't know what time it is. Good morning. My name is Tyler Travers, Policy Director for Renew Missouri, here for informational purposes on the bill. As sort of was alluded already, eminent domain for solar is already prohibited by the law. Section 442.012 says, the right to utilize solar energy is a property right, but eminent domain may not be used to obtain such right. And also some of the proponents mentioned that this is sort of about the hookups, not the actual solar facilities themselves. And those hookups also apply to gas plants and other forms of generation. So just for those reasons, we'll be testifying for informational purposes.
Thank you. Questions for this witness? Seeing none. Thank you. Zach, I'm sorry. I forgot the informational part. Make sure you have a form to fill out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Zach Monroe on behalf of Ameren, Missouri, here for informational purposes only. We've testified in this fashion for several years on this legislation. We have no intent to ever condemn for wind or solar generation, but there is language that we had negotiated previously with parties in the room that would clarify that this exemption would not obtain to any connecting equipment necessary to get it on the grid. We fear that if a case were ever to be brought along this line, and it had to do with citing this section, that without a clarification, many of our projects could be brought into court and held there for a long time, citing this exemption against normal standing procedure as is today. That's all I have.
Can you tell me, in the recent past, with gas turbines being built different places, have you all had to use eminent domain to get connectivity to those?
Not to my knowledge. Unfortunately, our times when that has had to happen is on transmission lines.
Right. But the lines getting to those gas turbines, you haven't had, do you use eminent domain?
With the gas pipe or with the electric transmission?
With the electric.
I'm not aware of that on any of our current, but I mean, we haven't built a gas turbine since, I mean, we're actively building one now on an existing site, so all the lines already run to it, but I can't recall a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you. Anybody else for information purposes? Sorry about overlooking that part. That'll conclude the hearing on Senate Bill 954. Next, we'll hear Senate Bill 960 with Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts, thanks for waiting patiently. These Commerce Committee meetings seem to take a long time. We got 1, 2, 3.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Again, I'm Senator Steve Roberts, and I'd like to thank you for allowing me to present Senate Bill 960. This bill updates the statutory framework for governing the Missouri Clean Water Commission. It revises the commission's membership to reflect clearly defined areas of expertise. It provides for one member knowledgeable in agriculture, one knowledgeable in industry or mining, one with experience in publicly owned water waste treatment works, and 4 members representing the public. Senate Bill 960 also modernizes the Commission's governance by requiring the annual selection of a chairman and vice chairman at the Commission's first meeting each year, promoting continuity and accountability in leadership. To strengthen public trust, the bill tightens conflict of interest provisions. It restricts appointments of individuals with substantial interests in certain in-state business entities and directs the Commission to adopt clear rules requiring members to recuse themselves when potential conflicts arise. Finally, the bill improves attendance accountability by deeming a member resigned after missing 4 consecutive regular meetings, ensuring that vacancies are filled promptly so the Commission can function effectively. Thank you very much, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Senator. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none. How many people want to testify in favor of this bill? How many in opposition? Okay. Please come forward. And those supporting, please come forward. And again, make sure you have a witness for him, please. Hot dog. Tracy, it's just down to you and me.
Oh, you're good right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity, Senators. My name is Susan Fair, and I'm going to testify in support. Can you hear me?
More importantly, people out of the building, believe it or not, some people are listening to this,
Okay.
so if you talk to the microphone.
In support of Senate Bill 960, and I'd like to share a personal story about trying to clean up 2 major watersheds in northwest Missouri, the Thompson River watershed and the Grand River watershed, which are both on the impaired list. I feel that by reinstating the public interest majority on the Missouri Clean Water Commission, that I would be hopeful that the commission would be more proactive in helping my community clean up our impaired waters. And I'm going to share my story about this experience. I live in an agricultural community outside of Chillicothe in Livingston County, in the middle of 2 impaired watersheds, the Thompson River watershed and the Grand River watershed. These water bodies are impaired with E. coli from non-point source agricultural runoff. I have been a member of a steering committee tasked with developing a watershed plan through the EPA non-point source 319 program. These plans are eligible for funding, but the participation and the cleanup efforts are completely voluntary and require buy-in from the stakeholders. My stakeholders are farmers, county commissioners, soil and water conservation districts, in addition to citizens. Currently, the cleanup of the impaired water body is handed off to a local community without data on the exact sources of E. coli. The Department of Natural Resources relies on water data gathered by other agencies and volunteer organizations such as the Stream Team, and they are not, Missouri Department of Natural Resources is not using microbial source testing to determine the exact sources of E. coli. When E. coli is detected in levels that impair our rivers and our streams, I'm suggesting or urging the Missouri Department of Natural Resources to use microbial source testing to determine the sources of E. coli before placing these water bodies and watersheds on Missouri's 303D list. Because this lack of data on the possible sources of E. coli handicaps our efforts, the efforts of stakeholders, to clean up the water. For example, when the Thompson River Watershed Planning Group began meeting with the soil and water conservation districts in multiple counties and the county commissioners in multiple counties, it became clear that unless stakeholders knew the source of E. coli contamination, we weren't going to get buy-in, we weren't going to get participation in developing a watershed plan. The planning stalled. Comments would be the same you hear from the Farm Bureau. Well, it could be from septic, and yes, it could be. These county commissioners know what homes are straight piping their sewage out into the ditches. It could be from wildlife, for sure. It could be from the hog CAFOs up there. It could be from cattle feedlots or individual cattle producers. But you go into these meetings and you get a blank face. It's done. There's no more buy-in. The EPA has published documents on using microbial source tracking to support TMDLs. They are readily available to the Clean Water Commission. And when you get a TMDL report on a water body that's been, it's the amount of loading. This happens after total, Mary, can you help me with that? Total maximum daily load permitted. And our water bodies are impaired with E. coli. So the DNR puts out a report. The Clean Water Act requires this. And they publish a report and they list all possible sources of the E. coli. But again, their water testing data has been drawn from health departments, from stream teams, from anywhere they can get it. And that's acceptable. I mean, that meets the bottom line, but it's not helping us in rural Missouri. And so without the absence, I lost my point. This is a quote. When you get one of those reports, they allow the public and agricultural groups to make comments. And when the Grand River Watershed Report came out, the Missouri Farm Bureau made a public comment. They complained about the absence of scientific data. sounds like they would support microbial source testing. The Missouri Farm Bureau noted its member-adopted policy regarding TMDLs and Section 303D listings. That's the impaired water list in our state. The policy notes the Bureau opposes identifying water bodies as impaired in the absence of scientific data, clear standards, and the support of affected landowners. So without knowing where this E. coli is coming from, our plan is dead. So I'm hoping that a more representative commission might be willing to implement microbial source testing. It's affordable. The University of Missouri has a lab that does it. We've networked with North Carolina State, Dr. Levine, when we were trying to get a plan. It's simple. It's doable. It's affordable. I think it's like $80 per test right now, something in that order. It can be done. Other states are using it. It just takes a little buy-in. So I'm going to be controversial here, but I've been at this a while. Considering the ties to industrial agricultural of the current commissioners and their lack of interest in providing scientific data for the sources of E. coli due to non-point source agricultural runoff, this appears to be more than an oversight. So I urge you to support that bill.
Any questions? Senator McCray.
I appreciate your detailed testimony. So I think what you're saying is you think adding a few public members to the Clean Water Commission could provide a little bit of balance rather than just industry folks. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, in conversations with Michael Cruz, who is a retired director of that area of the DNR, he's the one that told me about EPA's publications on microbial source testing. And he's the one that told where the DNR gets their test data. They rely on other people's test data. My point is that it really wouldn't take much initiative to start implementing something like this. Do it before, when you start seeing that these water bodies, I mean, the Grand River watershed and the Thompson watershed are huge.
Mm-hmm.
When you start seeing that E. coli is polluting them, do microbial source testing. Give us the data so we can go in and work with the county commissions and work together. They know who's pumping their household sewage out in the ditches. We've had those conversations. Then you're working from the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you go in and you try to get buy-in and you throw all these conservation monies at a problem.
But the senator asked, do you think this change of the commission would correct some of those flaws that you see?
From my experience attending the Clean Water Commission meetings, and I've had experience in other areas with them, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for coming down and testifying. I appreciate you waiting for us. Anybody else in favor, please come forward.
Do I give it to you or?
Yeah, you can just set it right here. Yeah, sure thing.
Good morning once again, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, State Public Advocate. SB 960, this should be a bipartisan bill. It's a great bill to make better government and make better government responsive to citizens and especially to our clean water and the environment. This bill has a makeup of the membership of the Water Commission. I agree that 4 members shall represent the public, and the majority shall be from the public rather than special interest of agriculture, mining, which would be 4 members, and the wastewater, which would be the 5th member. So I believe that all of these members of the Water Commission, there should be sections or districts throughout the state, so we don't have too many people from one district or one area. We have 8 congressional districts. Maybe that might be a possibility. It's about ethics, transparency, honesty, and accountability. There are too many cushy business deals and interactions and contracts with passing promulgated rules and regulations that favor certain corporations and certain companies in the water or wastewater business. Citizens should control the Clean Water Commission over special interests, and therefore I highly support this bipartisan bill, SB 960. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ernie. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none. Thank you for your testimony.
Thanks.
Next in favor, please come forward. I apologize to the committee. We just have a lot of stuff, and this committee takes a long time. So
Sure.
sorry about that. Steve, sorry.
Good morning, Senators. My name is Mary Culler, and I serve as the Executive Director of the Missouri Stream Team Watershed Coalition. We are a nonprofit here in the state, formed in 1999, made up of individuals and healthy river organizations that work daily to improve water quality of our rivers, streams, and lakes in our state. And we do this through education efforts and encouraging each person to take positive actions to be a steward of their local waterway. So we support Senate Bill 960. I spoke previously on Senator Berger's bill 1009. And I think Senator Berger's bill is a positive step forward, but it's not perfect. And of the two, we would support this bill that restores the public majority to the Missouri Clean Water Commission. The change to the Missouri Clean Water Commission occurred with House Bill 1713, was passed in 2016. The original purpose of that bill was related to requiring DNR to provide information about wastewater technologies to upgrade lagoon-based wastewater treatment systems. And then there was a Senate committee substitute that did not have a public hearing, that changed the makeup of the commission from historically the commission had 4 members representing the public to the change made it where it could have no more than 4 members. So essentially this allowed where there could be 0 representatives of the public on the commission. And from my observation, watching the commission the last 8 years, it seems that the commission is dominated by large interest groups, and that the public really has no voice on the commission currently. There have been some examples, as the previous witness was talking about, just like a non-interest in hearing science. I testified before the commission once about it was a 111-page document that talked about how we assess streams in the state, and I have 20 years of experience in water science, and I'm a research biologist, but my comments were not, or were basically ignored by the commission, and it seems that there typically is a 5-to-1 vote just consistently. And so in short, we support this bill. I think, between the 2 bills we've talked about today related to this, it's clear like there is improvement needed to the Clean Water Commission. It does seem to be heavily dominated by large interest groups. And I would suggest, though, when we think about who represents the public, like who is the public, that there are some additional structures or details built into that, because currently, if you look on the DNR's website and it has the commission listed, there's 2 members that represent agriculture, and then there are 3 members that represent the public. But if you look at who those members are representing the public, they are all farming or are members of, they're all farmers or members of the large farming interest groups. And so obviously nothing against farming. We all need to eat, and it's an honorable profession, but it doesn't seem to provide a fair and balanced water commission. When we think about water in the state, there are many what's called designated uses of streams, such as providing aquatic habitat, such as providing swimming, recreation, providing irrigation, drinking water supply, stormwater management. And so within Missouri's regulations, it talks about the designated uses of Missouri's waters. And so to me, when we think about who represents the public, it would be nice to kind of dive into who is the public. The public is not only farmers, or, you know, you don't have to have a membership to one of the large ag groups to be considered a member of the public. And so I would encourage the Senate to look into that a little bit further and provide some details of, you know, can we have a member of the public that's knowledgeable about aquatic habitat, a member of the public that's knowledgeable about recreation, you know, Missouri canoeing, paddling, that is a huge business. Fishing, right? We are the home of Bass Pro Shops, right? There's so many different uses of water and needs for water. And then also when we talk about just the representatives, so there's two sides of that, the people that use and benefit from clean water, then also the industries that are regulated through Missouri's clean water law. And the majority of industries that are regulated through Missouri's clean water law are not related to agriculture. And I could go on, there's a list, but you know, quarries, wastewater treatment facilities, we've talked about that, chemical manufacturing, car washes, swimming pools, etc. So it's not all agriculture, and it seems that the current commission structure is not representative of all Missourians and is not fair and balanced. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you. Next in favor, please come forward.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for being here through this very long committee hearing. We appreciate your attention on this really important issue. As you can see, there's multiple bills that are addressing this issue in the makeup of the Clean Water Commission, which shows that there's something that has to change here. My name is Maxine Gill, and I'm here speaking on behalf of Missouri Coalition for the Environment. We are an advocacy nonprofit that empowers Missourians to speak up on behalf of their health and the health of the environment across Missouri. Recently, we've gained many members throughout Southwest Missouri who are experiencing the detrimental impacts of industries that are under the purview of the Clean Water Commission, and I'm here speaking on their behalf. The Clean Water Commission was created in 1972 to replace the Water Pollution Board, so it's existed for a long time, but only since 2016 was a provision overturned which stipulated that the majority of commissioners had to be representative of the public. The Clean Water Commission is tasked with overseeing the prevention, control, and abatement of new or existing pollution of waters of the state. This is a really, really critical issue. Of course, we all know the importance of our water resources here in Missouri. We're all proud of the recreation that happens here, the fishing that happens here, and our beautiful natural environment that's often overlooked by other states, I would say. And to be clear, I don't envy the Clean Water Commission. They have a really difficult job. There's a saying that a good compromise leaves everyone walking away a little bit angry, and I don't envy the people who have to face the ire of everybody involved when they're making decisions that carefully balance the needs of industry with the needs of constituents and human health and the environment. But since 2016, the Clean Water Commission hasn't really been striking compromises, so much as making decisions that skew towards the favor of industry at the expense of the health and well-being of everyday Missourians and the natural resources that they depend on. For example, in 2021, we, MCE, petitioned DNR to create a rule that addressed something called cyanotoxins, which are a result of dangerous bacteria that can be proliferated when there's an overgrowth of algae in certain water bodies. We petitioned DNR, and they accepted our petition and said that, yes, this is an issue. Cyanotoxins can cause symptoms from rashes and gastrointestinal issues all the way to kidney failure and death. And they really narrowed the focus and the scope of that rule to waters that Missourians swim in, so for the designated use of swimming and recreating. They held a 60-day RIR comment period. They drafted the rule. They created the rule. They held multiple workshops and multiple public hearings on the rule, and after over a year of developing this rule, they brought it to the Clean Water Commission, who promptly rejected it. Now, we still don't have any rules on the book to regulate this really toxic substance that can result in death. In January of last year, for another example, residents who lived near the Sarcoxie area, in that rural area, received notice of 8 industrial facilities cropping up in their area. many of these residents reached out to us who were very concerned. One resident said that she was going to have 5 facilities in just a mile radius of her home. They contacted us saying that they support industry. They're farmers themselves. They've lived on this Missouri land for 4 generations, some of them. But they worried about the particular concentration of these facilities in their area and what would result in the depletion of their well water supply. They're already experiencing drought conditions in that area right now, and the cumulative impact that these industries would have on polluting their air and their water. So DNR held a public hearing, and these residents showed out in the hundreds to come and testify against these facilities. And DNR carefully listened to their concerns and then said, well, there are no rules on the books that allow us to reject any of these facilities on the basis of it harming water, air, and your health. But they, basically said that, well, I'll just go to, essentially they then banded together and created a petition for rulemaking, and they came to the Clean Water Commission, and they said, this was the outcome of this hearing. DNR wasn't able to listen to our concerns at all, and this is going to impact our health, and we want to be able to continue to live and work and farm here. And then the Clean Water Commission they had a couple options. They could have accepted the rule as written. They could have amended it and said to DNR that they wanted them to accept the petition for rulemaking, but they need to, more carefully balance the needs of industry and to amend it as such. And they chose neither option, and they just flatly rejected the petition for rulemaking. Then this same group pooled their resources together to hire a lawyer to appeal several of these permits. And the Clean Water listened to the arguments, recognized that they did have the ability to regulate certain contaminants that they are not currently regulating, and then they rejected those appeals, saying that, well, there's not any rules on the books that would allow us to reject this permit appeal. And if you recall, they were the ones that had rejected the petition for rulemaking as well. This is all to say, industry is important, and we recognize, and I think that this bill also recognizes, that we need industry representatives on the commission. Their voices are important. They need to be able to oversee the industry activities that are happening in our state and that allow the state's economy to keep running. But all we're asking is that the legislature return to its prior rendition and prior makeup before 2016 to ensure that the commission can actually balance the interests of everyday Missourians whose health are being harmed right now, so that the Clean Water Commission can do its primary duty of protecting Missouri's environment and the waters of the state. And with that, I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Any questions? Seeing none. Thank you for testifying. Anybody else in favor, please come forward. And I'm sorry, but it's getting late, so if you could be as brief as possible. This is it. You're here for the finish.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed members of the committee. Well, good morning for another, 7 minutes. My name is Carolyn Eiswanger. I'm here on the behalf of the Sierra Club and our 11,000 members statewide. First, I'd just like to thank the Senator for his continued work on this legislation, and also thank you all for the hearing today. I will keep it short and sweet, I promise. The Sierra Club would just like to go on record in support of this legislation. It's important to protect public oversight in the commission that oversees our most valuable asset, which is water. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. That was very brief. I appreciate it. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none. Thank you very much.
Of
Anybody
course,
else in
thank you.
favor, please come forward. Anybody in opposition?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, briefly, my name is Brent Hemphill. I'm here as a registered lobbyist on behalf of the Missouri Soybean Association and the Missouri Pork Association. We want to go on record in opposition to this, primarily the aspect dealing with the 2 ag representatives. If some of you on here are ag folks, and you know the sensitivity and the certainty and the challenges, and I've been doing this for a very, very long time, I think there is a good process that we currently have in place. I respect everybody wants their folks coming from their perspective backgrounds to serve on these commissions, but when you are removing one ag member who has an in-depth understanding of how production agricultural is done in this state, it raises our concern, and so we are opposed to any changes of the current makeup of the Clean Water Commission.
So right now, what the governor appoints and Senate confirms, is that how
Advice
this
and
works?
consent,
And it's
7.
How many years?
I don't know, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none. Thank you. Anybody else in opposition, please come forward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Mark Figgenbaum with Missouri Farm Bureau testifying in opposition to SB 960. We believe that water is a vital resource that's important to all Missourians, and that decisions made by the Clean Water Commission significantly affect the agriculture industry. And we think that our industry representation on the commission is well merited and provides experienced stakeholder perspectives. Water regulation can vary within the agriculture industry as well as vary by region, and these members provide helpful insight to best practices to navigating these difficulties. Agriculture members provide feasible analysis based on experiences from their operations, identification of unintended consequences, as well as practical insights into how rules will interact with existing conservation programs. It also builds credibility between landowners and the regulatory entity, and with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Senator May.
So I just need clarification because I'm missing something. So I think it's saying that one member is going to be agriculture.
Yeah, but with the diversity that we see in agriculture and the fact that it's not a monolith, we believe having two is merited.
Okay, so it's going down from 2 to 1.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. Anybody else in opposition, please come forward. How many other people want to, for opposition or information? Oh,
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Jason Zamkus. I'm a registered lobbyist on behalf of the Missouri Corn Growers Association. We support the current makeup of the commission, and because this bill would actually dilute agriculture's influence on the commission, we have to go on record in opposition.
thank you.
Oh,
Questions?
also, it's a 4-year term.
Is it? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Zamkus. Thank you very much. That will conclude. I guess we're done now. Is that right?
Just one quick closing
Sure.
remark. I believe right now, out of the 8 commissioners, 7 are represented by the agriculture industry with the current makeup of the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That will conclude the hearing on Senate Bill 960. That concludes the hearing of Commerce. Thank you.
7 and 8, right.
They're all along in this committee.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for testifying. Glad to.